everyone. I know a couple of you have been at some of these forums this morning, but these are city council candidate forums for all of our wards across Billings. Today we are in the beautiful Heights with Ward 2. We just have one candidate with us today who will be introduced in a minute, but this is a really good chance that you get to kind of be face-to-face with your city council candidates. I think this is why I love local elections the most. It's really cool that these people just live in our communities and are nonpartisan folks who just want to hopefully improve our community. This was put on today by Forward Montana, League of Women Voters, Billings Kiwanis, and it's just a really great opportunity to really learn about like who's going to match your values, what you want to vote on, and what matters to you most in your community. So Jason here in a second will talk about the format and everything, but ballots are going to be mailed out October 18th. So we're just telling folks, it's an all mail-in election for city council, so you'll get your ballot in the mail. You'll see 2 city councilor candidates on your ballot, as well as 2 municipal judge candidates, and then a parks bond that we're going to talk a little bit about today, that would help kind of just improve parks around Billings, build a recreation center on the south side. And we're a small group, so this is a really great opportunity for you to ask questions of the candidate we have here today, and really get to know what's going to be on your ballot in November. So we'll kind of do some closeout stuff too with any questions, but otherwise I'm going to let Jason take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Barry. And again, thank you to the League of Women Voters and Forward Montana and Kiwanis and everybody for being here today. We have one candidate with us today, Dustin Hanson, who is running in Ward 2, and Roy Neese declined to attend today, so we will just be talking to Dustin. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to start things off with a little introduction, and I'll let Dustin introduce himself to you guys, and then we will move into some more serious questions. You'll have 2 minutes. Somebody will time you and give you a 30-second warning, and then a 15-second warning if we get to that point. We'll go through the more serious questions and then get into some fun, light questions, and then we'll move it over to you guys, and you get a chance to ask some questions yourselves of the candidates. So we're going to start things off with you, Dustin. I'll give you a few minutes to just kind of introduce yourself to everybody, tell people who you are and why you decided to run for city council.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Hi, everybody. Thanks for everybody that showed up today. Come and ask questions and hear me talk. And hopefully I don't fumble my words up too much because I'm terrible at public speaking. But like I said, my name's Dustin. I was born in Montana. I've lived in Billings for over, probably in total, 30 years now. I've lived in the Heights for probably over 20 in 2 different locations. My kids are almost all grown up here. But they've played in this spray park right here in Castle Rock Park, under the school, Castle Rock, Skyview, all of that. So I'm very much a part of the community here, just like everybody else. My background's in software engineering, so I like to call myself a professional problem solver. And I decided I wanted to take some of those skills to hopefully help solve some of the problems that we have here in Billings. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. All right, here we go with the questions. Question number 1, Billings, like many communities in Montana, is seeing rapid growth and a rising cost of living and rental prices. What is the single most impactful policy or action City Council could take to support more affordable rental opportunities, especially for young folks, seniors, and people that are low or middle income?
There's never going to be like just a one magic fix. I think just one solution isn't the answer. It's going to be a multifaceted thing. But I think the biggest thing that I'd like to see is I've been telling people Billings needs to grow up. And I mean that literally, like vertically. We need to encourage population density, because not only will, we can have larger apartment complexes near the downtown area. The more apartments there are available will actually drive down prices, because right now there's not enough housing, and so the prices go up and keep going up. Not only will that help, allow cheaper housing for people that are either retired or lower income, it'll also help out public safety, which is a double bonus of that kind of stuff, because then, police and fire don't have to be stretched out so far, covering hundreds and hundreds of more square miles. As we grow wide, we need to grow up.
Absolutely. Do you support increased funding for community programs and resources that would provide services to our houseless neighbors? And if so, what programs would you like to see implemented or funded?
I do. I think there's a number of different things that we could do to help with that. Again, it's affordable housing is the solution to that, but we need to have programs that can help people kind of rehabilitate themselves, not necessarily from maybe addiction issues or mental health issues, but just, maybe they need workforce training. And so we need to have some of those communities and organizations support that, funding to put into that, so people can, feel proud of their community that they live in again. They're a working member of society for our city, So I think it's definitely something that's super important, and it kind of gets ignored a little bit.
As our city continues to grow, public safety has been on the top of mind for many voters. What is your vision for public safety in Billings? What policies or measures would you support to make Billings a safer and better place to live for an economically diverse population?
Well, I think we actually did pass some safety mill levies the last couple of years, and we're starting to see some of those benefits. And I think people are starting to notice some of the community outreach officers that are out there now, and I think that was a huge step, because we don't need necessarily, we need more, I should say we need more specially trained officers that can handle mental health issues, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I think we're starting to see some of those fruits from the labor, and I think we should keep investing in those type of programs.
With the rising cost of housing and the cost of living, many people, especially younger folks, are struggling to see a sustainable economic future for themselves in our community. What do you think the role of City Council in helping to support and retain a talented young workforce in Billings is?
I have that same fear for all my kids. I really wonder how they're going to be able to afford to buy a house someday, and some of that might not be around here. I hope that's not the case. But I think that City Council will do what we can to have policies and like some of the stuff that changed in the zoning requirements when the recode program went into effect. I think that helped out a lot. Anything that we can do to streamline the process of new development or redevelopment is something that will help solve a lot of those issues.
On the ballot this November, obviously, is a $143 million parks bond that would build a new recreation center on the south side, as well as invest in parks and trails across the city. Would you vote yes on this bond, and why or why not?
100%. I'm going to be voting yes on this bond. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime, almost generational change that can happen in Billings in a short amount of time. I think not only is it going to help like Castle Rock Park where we are today, but it's going to help everywhere across Billings. So it's not going to be just like little pick and choose here and there, and that'll provide so many different opportunities and activities for not only children but for older people. We'll have community centers across the city, so no longer will people have to travel from one end to the other end of Billings, maybe for a small concert. So I think it's something that's super important, and I hope everybody else sees the same.
Communities across Montana have felt the impacts of a changing climate over the last few summers. Smoky air, high temperatures, devastating flooding. What do you think the role of City Council should be, if any, in combating climate change?
I think anything that we can do to encourage it is definitely the right start. It's everybody's fight. It's not just people's individuals or companies. I think one of the great stories in Billings is actually kind of the landfill and the waste division. Some of the stuff that they're doing that I've learned is incredible, and a lot of it's they've done on their own inside the department. So like one of the cool things that I learned is that they're actually harvesting the methane that comes out of the landfill, and they're actually using it to power some of the equipment that actually operates out there. And so just little things like that, if we can all do our part, will add up to hopefully showing everybody that Billings can be a sustainable place.
All right, now we're going to move on to some of the fun ones here. So we need top of mind, quick, short answers here. That's what we're looking for, so don't think too hard. No wrong answers here. Favorite restaurants in Billings?
Favorite restaurant in Billings?
Yes. Doesn't have to be in your area. Could be anywhere.
That's a tough one, actually, for me. I'm a huge fan of Guadalajara, any of the places. I love Mexican food. Give me those enchiladas any day. And something about their enchilada sauce.
It's a good choice. Yes. Go-to karaoke song.
If I'm singing karaoke even? Probably some 90s country song by like Randy Travis or something, because I just remember growing up with that the most.
That's solid. Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is
dating Travis Kelce. I'm sure everybody knows.
Two in a row.
I will say, of the day today, we've gotten one. She is young, and then we've gotten two. Travis Kelce. Yeah. So people know. Favorite place to go on a weekend in Billings?
I really like going to concerts at the pub station. Pub station, I love what they did there, turning in the old bus station into a venue. I love when concerts show up there that I want to go to and interested in, and maybe with this park bond we can do some outdoor ones at the amphitheaters and stuff.
Dogs or cats?
Currently dogs, but I enjoy both.
Okay.
I have 2 dogs.
One thing you wish you could change about Billings, but 1 or 2 words. It's got to be a very simplified, boiled down thing. What needs fixing?
I'll go back to what I said. Billings needs to grow up vertically.
That is 2 words. Vertically,
Grow up,
3
grow
times.
up.
Grow up. I like that
That's
works.
grow
That
up.
fits. If you could have one celebrity come and canvas for your campaign, who would it be and why? Big J. A real celebrity.
Oh, besides Big J?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't think we can get McLovin. I think he's too hard to
Yeah,
get.
exactly.
So, probably the dude.
The dude.
The
Love
dude.
it.
That would be
I mean,
good.
he's
That would be
native
good.
Montana
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
so absolutely, yeah.
Favorite form to eat potatoes in? A lot of choices.
Probably tater tots. Yeah.
That's good.
Not good for you, but they taste
Wholesome.
damn good though.
Wholesome
Darn
way
good.
to do it. Do you
can swear.
believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
I like it. All right. What is the last book you read?
I don't get to read a lot, so I do a lot of Audible books when I do get to. And I'll be kind of ashamed. Not ashamed, but I just finished the very first Harry Potter book. For the first time.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've got a whole bunch more.
I do. I got a lot more looking forward to me. I've never seen any of the movies or anything like that, too. And
I think you're off to the races at
Yeah.
this point. All right. Well, at this time, we're going to turn things over to you guys and let you guys ask some questions now. So, obviously, we covered some of the big topics, and you guys may have some questions about those or other things. Does anybody have something you would like to ask the candidate right here? Yes.
Another question about the bond issue. A lot of people that I've talked to are generally in favor of it, but they're definitely confused about how much of that chunk of money is going to be, designated towards the new big rec center, and how much to upkeep and improvement of parks. But the perception is that the bulk of the money is going to go to the new big rec center. Can you speak to that and how it's going to be broken up at all?
I don't know the exact numbers on the bond. I haven't fully looked into it. I know as a large portion of it is to that because it's brand new construction. And it's not just building a small building, but I think if we were to cumulatively add up all the other parks together on top of that, we're getting pretty close to being about the same. I know we might have other people here that would
Yeah, I was
be able
going to
to help
say, I
answer
think
that question
if you would like
closer.
Chris to...
If you want to pun, we can
Yeah.
give
But-
her a precise answer to her question.
I have this one, so it says the $143 million bond, $110 million of that is the recreation center on the south side. So that's like
Is that-
$33 million.
Not quite. So yes, it is a $143 million bonds. Of that, $85 million is for the rec center, and 58 is for the other parks and trails. Now the rec center is $110 million, but the extra money comes from the Suburra TIF district,
yeah.
not from the bond.
Cool. Yeah, and we do have a bunch of information over here as well that Chris has over here with pamphlets and
After this is
Yeah.
done, we're happy to
yeah,
answer
we can
any
do a little bit
questions you
more.
have about
Yeah,
it.
about the park.
Just something I would follow up with that. Not necessarily your question, but I know a lot of people talked about they wanted to maybe break it up into smaller projects or into individual parks. And the problem with that is then you have everybody from other ends of the town only voting for certain portions of it instead of helping out the entire community in one swoop. We can't just ask the people on the west end to help support just Castle Rock Park and vice versa. So I think by grouping these together, not only is it going to improve all the parks at one time, but it's like I said, it's just a generational change where all of a sudden Billings is going to be completely different than we ever remembered it before, and I think in a good way.
Any other questions out there?
I can ask one while folks are thinking. I've asked this around at the forums today, and I am very interested in this given, Forward Montana is interested in getting younger folks involved, and what we're kind of finding talking to folks about getting involved with city government. A lot of younger people there's a lot of barriers to, we've been told, there's a lot of boards and committees that people can join, and those are really great, but some of the meetings are at 3:00 on a Tuesday. There's not childcare. There's not compensation. I know we've talked a lot about like Yellowstone County Commission, even a lot of their meetings are in the morning. So I just hear a lot of feedback from young people that some of the barriers are pretty high. And so I'd be curious if you would have any ideas of ways to get younger folks involved in city government and maybe feel more represented and able to be involved.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think to really help with the younger generation these days, we need to find better ways to communicate with them. While there's city council meeting minutes, there's on-demand video for the whole thing. Not everybody has 4 hours in their workday. Like even me trying to catch up as a candidate, like I run 2 businesses. I'm a single father full-time, and so like it's hard to find those times. But for the people that are more casual but want to be in the know, we need to find more ways to communicating. So I think it'd be a great idea, whether it's to hire interns from Rocky Mountain College or MSUB, they're doing like graphic design or marketing type stuff, that could take some of that information and make short form videos or make small infographics. And because everybody's about the short form videos, TikToks these days, and if we can kind of regurgitate some of the high level points and share those out there, I think that it's going to get people, 1, more knowledgeable, and 2, potentially more involved, which is what we all want.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it'd be a very expensive cost either,
Yeah.
especially for an intern.
Very cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you feel about the reviews of the city council and county commission structure that's going to be on the ballot?
Like the city council, or the oh my gosh,
The
drawing a blank.
10-year review.
Yeah, the charter. Thank
Yes.
you, thank you. I think it's huge. It's a big reason. I think why I decided this time to kind of dip my toes into it, because I think as the charter, it's like the city's constitution, and we have the ability to kind of bring it into the to the modern times, because I think it was last done 30 to 50 years ago or something, and there's so many things that we could look at doing and to change maybe how city council works. I know it's even been floated out there by other council members, maybe city council should be full-time positions, because the city has grown so big. There's so many decisions that happen all the time. So that's another area of entry for younger people, because they maybe can't afford to, because they can't take a whole day off or multiple days off to help do things with the city council. So the fact that we have the opportunity to not only update that, but potentially fully rewrite it to make our city government work the best for us, and in the way that we've grown and doubled in the last 15 years, I really look forward to it, and I hope we get the chance.
How about the county? Do you have any opinion on that?
I don't know much about the county and how it works with the commissioners as much, but I think it'd be probably the same way, that it should be updated, because obviously a lot has changed in the last 20-30 years, even since I graduated high school.
Would you like to see Billings revisit the non-discrimination ordinance issue? And if so, how would you feel about that?
I do. When the time is right. I think we have it's kind of got a bad taste in our mouth right now. I think because we didn't pass it two other times already. I think there's a lot of misinformation about what it does and doesn't do. And I think we really need to, if we're really going to push that forward again, we need to be sure we're 100% on board with it, and where all the information's out there. There's not a lot of questions about what it does and doesn't do, or that maybe it's already protected, but it's really not protected. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there and confusion that people don't understand what it truly does. And so when that time comes, which I hope it comes soon, we definitely need to be on the ball about it and make sure we do it right, because we can't afford to have it fail again. It would look really bad on Billings.
Any other questions out there from anybody? Yeah. Yes.
Why'd you run?
Why did I run? Biggest reason is because I don't feel like anybody's listening up here. I've been in, I get more information for state and obviously federal races than anything local. I know people do door knocking, but in the 20 years I've been here, I've never had anybody come to my door. Not for city council anyway. And I feel like, I think communication is a huge thing that needs to be improved with city government. And I think if there's ways that we can do it, like short form video, whatever that looks like, we need to, because while there's a lot of information out there, like there's the Heights Task Force that I don't know a lot about. I really only learned about it in the last year, and I didn't think it was actually an official officially recognized thing that the city even did. I thought it was just a group of Heights residents or whatever, and they just met and talked, and they would try to bring things. I mean, I didn't realize actually how involved they are and how they help with city council. And I think if I didn't know that, there's probably lots more people that don't have any clue about that. And there's those type of task forces all over the city.